news. We're into a new trading month for the NGX, and things got off to a bearish start yesterday. As we see, all share index was down 20 basis points. Equities bucked a 7-day winning streak to close lower by that margin. Market breadth, 28 advancers versus 24 decliners. Turnover was lower than the previous session, 10.25 million in total. Taking a look at how the sub-indices performed, we see that the banking, for example, was up by 2.18%, or was it 2.84? Yeah, 2.84. In the NGX industrials was down. Insurance, oil and gas, consumer goods, all up. Muktar Mohammed, CEO of Finance with Muktar, investment banker, capital markets analyst, one of our favorites. He joins us to discuss the markets. Muktar, very welcome. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Before we even get into May, April for the NGX, I think down about approximately 3.4%. What were the triggers behind the bearish activity in April?
I think was it in April you and I talked about the movement in Earth, Africa, MTN. You should know that these stocks were one of the high in terms of capital, in terms of index, the effect they have on the index. And they were not at the price they started in April, in March, not the price they started in April, ended in April. Especially Airtel Africa, and also MTN was marked down for dividend. So what you see comparable in April, where you think, the All-Share Index is down, was that a lot of stocks that were a lot of stocks that were doing very well, that helped the index to the point it was, were marked down for dividends in the month of April. So you saw this, you saw MTN, you saw Airtel, you saw Stanbic IBTC, Zenith Bank, UBA, Access Bank's not yet marked down yet.
Yeah.
So GTCO, they were all marked down for dividends. Nigerian Brewery also. So all these were part of what you saw what happened in April because of the markdown of these stocks that you saw. It looks like it was a bearish month, but in terms of the general outlook, it was because of the markdown.
Now, we've come to May. We had a bullish run that we saw ended yesterday. Would you attribute that to profit taking or what, as far as the
I think what we're seeing reshuffling. A lot of people are beginning to get their dividends from UBA, maybe from Zenith Bank, from MTN, and some of them are reinvesting it. So they are looking at good entry points. Some of them are reinvesting their dividend to stocks that have not been marked down for dividend yet. So definitely that's why you seem to see the kind of movement that you are seeing in the market in the month of May.
We've so far this year the market is up about 2%. How do you think this month will play out? We have, for instance, a handover of power later on this month. How do you think the NGX is going to play out this month?
The handover of power, I think, is already priced in.
It's already priced in.
It's already priced in. We've seen a successful election. We're going to see a successful handover of May 29. The only time you expect something to happen to the market is if we have the new administration able to hit the ground running, then the market will respond positively. But the market that responds positively to an election, whether it's free and fair or not, the market that responded to it, that at least we are not having causes of violent left, center, and right. So that the market have responded positively. So if you ask me, in the month of May, a lot of investors will actually just sit in the fence. That's why you see that stocks that are paying dividends seems to be the stock that investors are going for, just to get liquidity in their hands and see how it plans out in the month of June. June is going to be a critical month because we expect the new administration to hit the ground running. So we expect that by June you should have a template of who's going to be the minister for finance, and also some key appointments that will be done by Mr. President-elect. And hopefully we should start seeing those appointments anytime soon, especially who is going to be his chief of staff, who's going to be his media advisor. So that is a pointer to what is the general outlook of the cabinet will look like.
Very interesting. You just mentioned dividend stocks a moment ago. Can you speak to the importance of dividends as with respect to returns for investors?
Yeah, especially in the market when you have inflation is high. Bonds and treasuries and fixed income space have not been interesting like it used to be. And so what you're looking at stocks that are giving you dividend, and they are giving even a return of almost 10% dividend yield. And some of them giving above. You look at the stock like Access Bank. It's a stock that it has come to the tipping point whereby it has beat expectations. So it used to be a stock that would pay not less than 70, 80 kobo. It was 1 naira and it hit 1 naira 50 kobo cumulative dividend, paying 1 naira 30 kobo. That never happened before. You see, of course, GTCO and Zenith Bank has always been a high-paying stock. Then you saw Fidelity also coming to that numbers again, giving good dividends. And also Total Nigeria or the Total also did something very fantastic. Same thing with Seplat. So definitely, dividend is key when you have an economy that is still struggling because liquidity. But when you get this liquidity, it gives you opportunity for you to be able to get more assets at a cheaper rate. So the key why you see people go to dividend stock is because those liquidity comes, then you can reinvest it in assets that have good potentials in the future that are selling at a premium now.
Thanks for that. The sub-indices, we'd like to look at the sectors with you. Starting with banking, banking index 2.84% return yesterday. Is the financials, are they still the cream of the crop and your picks?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are the ones paying. And they are the ones that are highly regulated, even if they are going to the holding structure. Yeah. Despite the challenges with the Ghana sovereign debt, they still also turn up fantastic number. First quarter results have come also. They still come up with fantastic number. All of them, the assets and Zenith and UBA. The numbers have been very fantastic. So definitely, they are still the tools of investors. If you look at the general index year in year, you realize that the banking stock is even doing better than the total index itself. So that tells you that it's still a toast of investors.
Yeah. What about industrials? I know it was down 0.08%, but as far as the cement makers and so on, is that still a favorite of yours, or what do you make of the index?
Yeah, it's still, but again, we don't know we have projects that are already priced in, projects that they're already doing. So this incoming administration, are they going to continue with most of the projects? Are we going to see infrastructure development like we saw in the past 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari? So it all depends, and that's why you see people that are playing the industrial sector seems to just want to wait and see what the policy statements as regard infrastructural development. Are they going to concentrate to still do the roads, or they will now be moving into housing? So all these are things that makes investors want to sit at the fence. That's why you see the industrial side, it seems not to be moving fast yet.
What about oil and gas? Oil and gas, that was up, I think, 1.2 or so. Is that still a promising sector?
For the oil and gas, I told you, we only have two stocks there as far as I'm concerned. We have Seplat and we have Total. Yeah. Every other one, MRS and others, seems to be lacking in terms of payment or exciting investors. So those two stocks still, as for me, they still very good. Like I said, Total paid a dividend of 21 naira per share for its investor, which is good. Wow. Seplat also have consistently paid dividend, and they made a very good result. And so definitely, I think that's, for me, those are just the two stocks. I think they are in that sector. I don't want to talk about the one, do you know what?
Of course. Consumer goods, you've always mentioned inflation when we talk about consumer goods, up by 0.31%. What do you make of that sector?
I think it's surprising that even with the midst of the inflationary pressure, we are seeing that numbers in that space. I think it has to do with stock like Boa Cement and Boa Food especially, and Dangote, Sugar and others. So I think investors are just keen in it. Remember, there is NASCOM too, also National Salt. They also gave a good dividend payout. So we've seen the numbers of those stock. NASCOM have moved from a low of almost 10 to 14.50. So that's why you see those numbers moving in that sector. I think it's all about good price violation via the dividend payout that we are getting from those stocks.
What about insurance? That was up 1.25. Do you think we have too many insurance players on the exchange that there should be more mergers, or are you okay with the numbers? And we don't really talk much about insurance.
Insurance have really killed most investors. Most investors thought insurance would be like the banking. So remember, they did their recapitalization. Exactly. Everybody felt that insurance is the key driver of any economy globally, especially when you look at our population. But you realize that insurance are not doing more than most Nigerians does not believe so much in insurance. Ordinary with our population, with car insurance is the only thing that, because Nigerians are forced to do that. Ordinarily, Nigerians are not, and that is to the insurance also, they are not doing their work. And most of the insurance companies have not really done well. They have not clothed themselves in terms of payment of dividend or capital preservation. Some of them were bought at a point, most of them were selling at 4 or 5 naira. Today they are selling at a low of 20 kobo, 30 kobo. So What you better see in that sector is a volatile sector that is played by traders and speculators. So that's why you see that number up to 1 point something, because the speculators goes in there when it is low at 20 kobo. When it get to like 25 kobo, 22 kobo, they just take profit and they move. So it's not where investors wants to stay to make money. You only make money there in terms of capital appreciation, because the dividend payout is as good as nothing.
Gotcha. But a minute to go. Again, market is up 2.04%. I don't know if it should be fair of me to ask you what the rest of the year might look like, but what do you think?
I think it all depends on the incoming administration. What are they up to? What are their policies? And what have though the stock market, or like I say, always have its life of its own. We've seen that play out with the result that has come out. The market will still do what it has to do, but then to keep the economy going, it's through the economy that you begin to have confidence in the market. Then it all depends on what the incoming administration will have to do, especially the first 3 months. What are they? Who are those people that will man the key area? And when you talk about the economy, we are going to be looking at who's going to be the Minister for Trade and Investment, who's going to be the Minister for Finance, who's going to be we already know that the Minister for Petroleum will be Mr. President, who's going to be the Minister for Petroleum for States. So these are the key mover of Nigerian economy. And then you look at the aviation sector also, there seems to be a lot of challenges there. Who's going to be the minister of that sector? How's he going to? So a lot of things will happen. What is going to be our drive in terms of foreign direct investment? What are we going to? Are we still going to be borrowing, or are we going to think of how to attract investors? Will the current CBN governor still be there, or we have a new CBN governor that people will say, oh, finally we come? So it all depends.
Muktar Mohammed, CEO of Finance with Muktar, thank you so much for talking to us about the market. I always appreciate having you on.